Good morning, sweet friends. As we begin our practice, go ahead and allow yourself to settle into a centering position. For you, this might be lying on your back, either feeling your head and your spine and your pelvis on the floor, on the grounding surface beneath you, or having a folded blanket or bolster underneath your spine so that it creates a little bit of a passive back bend. You may choose to remain in a seated meditative position or even start in child's pose. Take what you know to be a comforting position for you, where you can come into your breath. Let's gently begin to turn our attention to our breathing. Maybe first noticing the breath, but walking through your body to soften the tissues of your scalp, sometimes just bringing awareness to the head, the scalp, the forehead, the jaw, begins to bring a little bit of space, a bit of softening. Notice if you can release any efforting in your arms or in the space between your shoulder blades, so that the space across your chest feels more at ease. Notice the tidal rhythm of your breath as rib cage expands and belly buoys out on each on each inhalation. And on each exhalation, they soften and gently contract down to their more restful state. Inhaling, feeling the movement, the expansion of ribs and belly. And exhaling, feeling it all soften. You may enjoy inhaling to the count of 4 and exhaling to the count of 6 to aid in that softening. Take awareness down into your low belly and around to the back side of your pelvis. Feel an ease move down through your legs as if the legs could land more fully, giving no direction to what direction your toes point when your heels are on the ground, or the sides of your feet if you're in seated position. And again, deepen an inhalation and gently elongate the exhalation. Be sweet as you notice what stories and people and projects and emotions that are close to you right now. And in this quieter breathing space, if it would be meaningful for you to set an intention for your practice, invite in a word, a phrase, a feeling, even if you aren't able to give it words yet, as we set intentionality for this day and for the days to come. Will you deepen one more breath here? And once that breath releases, let's begin to rejoin each other in our seated space. Either if you're on your back, rolling off to a side to use your arms to press up to seated, If you're on your back, you may like bringing your knees in and rocking up to seated. Once we join each other in seated, let's feel the tissues of the backside connecting to the blanket or the bolster or to the floor that you're sitting upon. And then bring attention to the perineum, the pelvic floor, and create a little dome, a little lift at the pelvic floor, like a very gently held Kegel. And then create a lift in the low belly, bringing it in and gently up. Bring awareness to the sternum and bring the sternum up and gently out so that shoulders and arms can soften on the shoulder girdle. Find space in the throat and a lift through the crown as if chin can come just slightly down and open the back of your neck. From this integrity of the bandhas, of Mula Bandha at the perineum, of Uddiyana Bandha at the belly, of Jalandhara at the throat, and the lift through the crown of the head, let's bow forward with this relatively straight spine, lifting your heart, and begin to circle in place. It's like you're a lighthouse and your heart is the light, and you're shining the light in all directions, circling. It may be as you circle back that you get a little round and stretch into your low back. But as you come forward, lift the heart through 3/4 of the circle so the back is quite straight. Notice what this massages in your body, as it might be at your hips or your glutes. It might be in the side crest of your hips or your low belly or up into your spine. Circle around twice more. And then let's find a place to pause and circle a few times in the opposite direction. Infuse the movement with your breathing as we tend to oxygenating different areas of the chambers of the lungs through movement. Massaging into the viscera that suspend and support your internal organs, as well as working superficial muscles and tissues and joints. Let's circle around one more time. And then letting yourself come to a pause point. Again, re-engage perineum, low belly, lift through the sternum, but let shoulders soften. Space in the throat and lift through the crown. Let's deepen this breath. And start to exhale, and let's transition over onto our hands and our knees. Coming into our familiar movement of cat and cow, and yet such a meaningful and powerful movement of cat and cow. As we bring hands under shoulders, knees under the hips, we'll inhale, tailbone up, gaze up, back bend. And exhale, round tailbone and crown under, forward fold. Inhale to the back bend, sway back cow. And exhale to cat's back. Noticing how this works into shoulders and hip sockets, all through the length of spine and sacrum, through the tissues of front, chest, and belly. And again, massaging the viscera around your organs. Let's take 3 more breaths, inhaling to back bend and exhaling to cat's back, forward fold. The next time you come into the cat's back, rounded spine, bring the spine down to a flat back. Let's draw the knees in closer towards each other and reach the right leg back behind you. Roll its toes under and gently press through your right heel to bring stretch into the bottoms of the foot, into the Achilles and calf. You may like taking this right leg over towards the left side, same action, but now we have it to the left side. Roll the toes under and push through the heel. Slowly bring the left ear towards the left hip to increase the opening on your right side body. An exploration through the body tissues, joints, and breath to coax the renewal of the life force, the release of what no longer serves us. Let's bring this right leg back to the center, bring head back to neutral, and lift the right leg up and back behind you. Hug into the belly, maybe even pull into that perineum and draw the heart forward, gaze slightly forward of your mat. Let's bend to the right knee and then curl it all around. Inhale, right leg kicks back, heart forward. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, kick back, heart and gaze forward. And exhale, curl in. Take 3 more just like this, or add the left arm. Inhaling, it reaches forward. And exhale, elbow and knee come towards each other like a little crunch. Inhale, expand. And exhale, draw it in. Take 1 more. Inhale and reach it all out. Replace the left hand underneath your shoulder. Bring right toes to the floor. And we're going to come into the gate pose. If you'll take your left foot and pivot it from the knee so it comes into a little tripod to your side, and then rise all the way up to stand on left knee and right foot. Let's take right hand down the right leg and sweep left arm to the sky and arc it over to open that left side body this time. 2 more breaths. Give the pose a little time. And let's release this all the way out. Come to the hands and the knees. Set back into child's pose, whether knees are narrow or knees are wide. Here, as we stimulate into knees, fronts of the ankles, low back. Let's inhale and rise to hands and knees. We'll take these movements to the other side. Go ahead and take 3 cat's breaths here just to neutralize right and left sides of the spine. Inhale to cat's back. To sway back. And exhale to the cat's back. Inhale to back bend. And exhale to forward bend. Bring the spine back to a flat back. Walk the knees in a little closer towards each other. And extend left leg back behind you. Roll the toes under and press through the back heel. See where that alivens sensation in your body. Let's take this left foot over to the right side. Same thing, toes roll under, press through the back heel. And then maybe bring your right ear towards your right hip to open the left side of your neck, the left side of your spine, the left crest of your hip, side of the left leg. Let's bring this left leg back through the center. And then lift it up into tabletop. Fortify perineum, low belly. Draw the heart and gaze forward. And then pulse this knee into your belly. Crunch it in. Inhale, kick it back. Heart and gaze forward. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, extend it back. Exhale, pull it in. Maybe adding right arm this time. Inhale, extend the tabletop. And exhale, draw it all in. Inhale to exhale. Inhale to exhale. Inhale and extend it all out. Hold it here. And then bring your right hand down. Bring the left toes down, but keep the legs straight. Pivot the right foot to the right so that you pivot on that knee. And let's rise up to gate pose. Left hand down, left leg, right arm reaches, opening that right side body. A couple more breaths. Inhale and rise up. Exhale, land the hands down. Come to child's pose once again. Hands could extend out long in front of you. Elbows can bend and rest under your elbows to underneath your shoulders in order to take pressure off your ankles and knees. Or you can tuck hands back by your feet, forehead coming towards the floor. Deepen one more breath. And once you exhale, let's lift up to tabletop, hands and knees. Roll the toes under and press up and back, taking that pressure off the knees. You may like pawing in place, bending one knee and pressing opposite heel down, and then switching. Paw gently in place or hold still. A little scoop in and up through the belly, a little softening downward at the heart. Strong in your bones that hold you here. Let's peek forward between the hands and step to the top of the mat so that we can join each other in Uttanasana, forward fold. Feet can be hip width apart as you bow in. Legs can be straight or bent as you bow in. See if you can let your head hang, even if it means that you bend your knees more and more, in order to release that back line of tissue and let the head drape and receive the traction. You might like turning your head slowly in a no. You might like exploring nodding your head slowly in a yes. Feel into the bottoms of your feet, hug into perineum, and begin to rise up, either rolling up the spine or coming up flat back. Let's inhale and reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, bring the hands down to your heart, touching an Anjali Mudra, the position of reverence and introspection. If you're holding an intention in your practice, bring in that feeling or that word or that image now. As we come into a little flow, release the arms down and up. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, rise, halfway lift, flat back, heart forward, shoulder blades towards each other, knees straight or bent. Exhale, fold. Let's step all the way back to high push-up plank position. You can go knees down here as well. Whether knees are down or you're in high push-up, hug into your belly and lift your hips a little higher and pulse it. Exhale, bring the hips down so that you're more in line, shoulders and hips. Inhale, lift the hips up, and exhale, lower down. One more time. Inhale, lift up. Bone density building here as we exhale down, either lowering to your belly from plank position or dropping the knees and then lowering down to the belly. Let's strengthen the core by bringing the hands back by the hips. Feet are narrow or wide apart. Hug into your bum, hug into your low belly, and lift your heart. So you're stable at the base of the spine. Exhale, lower down. Stay fortified in low belly and low bum. And inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, lower. Take 3 more here, either lifting just the heart or bringing arms and legs into the mix. Exhale, down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, down. Feel how it works, the whole girdle all the way around the circumference of your torso. One more breath here. Exhale down. Hands can come under shoulders. Press back to child's pose once again and open up knees, ankles, low back. Compress the front body that you were just opening. as our practice is self massage. Let's inhale and rise to hands and knees. Press back into downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, let's inhale, and you have the option to kick that right leg up and back behind you into three-legged dog, and then step it through your hands. From the step through position, we'll take a few pulses. Lift your hips up towards a straighter right leg. If you have blocks under your hands, it can be helpful here. And then bend into your right knee and push back through left heel. Inhale, lift the hips, and exhale, lower. Once more, inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Ground your left hand to the floor. Right hand can come to right knee or up towards the sky to twist. Inhale. Exhale, right hand comes down. Bring left knee down to the ground and take a crescent lunge. So we're opening up that left side of the front body, from fingertips to back toes. Will you pull your elbows back and open the heart? Inhale, reach skyward. Exhale, elbows pull back. Inhale, reach skyward, and then bring your hands behind your back. Draw the shoulder blades in towards each other and expand the heart. Maybe lean gently back. Release to frame the front right foot. We're going to come into gate pose, side plank, and then to gate. So if you'll take this, come to half splits first. That seems like the right thing to do here. Drawing your toes back towards your heart. Take 2 more breaths here. And now through the side plank and gate pose. Bend through the right knee. Take this right foot back behind you. Roll the toes under and do what we did earlier. Pivot your left foot behind you so you have that support. Keep left hand under the shoulder or slightly forward and bring right hand to the sky so you're sharing weight between your left arm, your left knee, your right foot. This is a gentle Vashisthasana side plank, but good bone density building. Let's hug into the low belly and lift all the way up. Open this to gate once again as right arm goes down, right leg, left arm sweeps. Let's bring this into the side of the neck and the shoulder. If you'll tuck your left hand behind your back and look down to your right foot. Inhale and sweep this left arm up alongside your ear. Look forward or gently up. And then one more time, sweep this hand behind your back. Look down, soft mouth. And inhale, sweep it back up alongside your ear. Let's cartwheel this down. Come to high push-up plank position or knees down. Take your back bend flow, as is more familiar to many of you, whether you want to take chaturanga up to up dog or land to the floor and take gentle cobra, pushing through the hands so it's upper body strength more than the core. Let's send this back to downward dog, or feel free to pass through child's pose on your way to downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, you can kick that right leg up and back behind you once again. And let's step it through our hands, this time coming into our standing postures. Turn and ground the left heel. Cartwheel up to Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2, and we'll pulse it 3 times. Straighten the front leg, bring your hands to your heart. Open out. Draw the hands in, straighten the front leg, and exhale out. One more breath. Hold it in Vira 2. Set the gaze past the tips of the right fingertips. Dancing the warrior as right forearm comes down, left arm sweeps alongside your ear. Hug into the belly and we'll rise up. Go ahead and straighten that front right leg and lean back. Keep the legs straight and rise torso back through center, triangle pose, hinge to the right. Right hand comes down, left arm skyward. Either looking down to your right toes, looking forward to keep the C curve of the spine, or looking up to challenge the balance. Let's hug into the low belly. Inhale and rise back up to standing. We'll bend into right knee, Vira 2 once again, and then cartwheel over its leg. Stepping back, high push-up, plank position, or knees down. Ride your back bend flow. Meet in downward facing dog. Feel free to move through child's pose on your way there. Once we are in downward dog again, let's walk the feet in towards each other and inhale, left leg kicks back. Exhale, step through the hands. Hands to the floor or hands to the blocks. Lift the hips up towards straight leg runner stretch. And exhale, bend through left knee and press through right heel. Inhale, lift the hips. And exhale, press. Twice more. Inhale, lift towards straighter front leg. And exhale into lunge. Inhale. To exhale, hold the lunge. Ground your right hand. Left hand comes to knee or left hand comes to sky. Twist. Let's bring this left hand to the earth. Bring the right knee down to the earth. Inhale and rise, crescent lunge. Pull the elbows back, heart forward. Inhale, reach skyward. Exhale, pull it back, freedom in your head and neck here. Jaw is soft. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull it back, hold it here, and take the hands behind the back. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other, opening chest. As you soften jaw and soften face, practicing the art of being at ease when you're in action. Exhale, bow forward. Keep the hips high and shift back to half splits. Maybe coaxing left toes back toward your heart. Bend into the front left knee. Reach the left leg back behind you. Roll its toes under. Holding the straight left leg, pivot your right foot behind you so you're standing on your right knee, but you have a tripod with this right leg. And right hand can be under your shoulder or slightly forward. Let's reach left hand to the sky and maybe flex in your left foot, but keep the side of that left foot grounded. We'll inhale. Exhale, unwind. Come back to high push-up plank position or knees down. And ride through your back bend flow. We'll meet in downward dog. Take your time. Let the breath be your leader. From downward facing dog, inhale, left leg skyward. Exhale, step it through the hands. Turn and ground the right heel. And we'll cartwheel up to Vira 2. Pulse it 3 times again, but this time take palms up and overhead as you straighten front leg. And exhale, open it out, Vira 2. Inhale, rise. Exhale, open. Inhale, rise. Exhale out and hold 3 breaths. If it's strong in that front knee, feel free to pulse it. Landing the front forearm, left forearm down to your thigh, sweep right arm alongside the ear. Let's hug into the belly and lift back up. Straighten both legs and lean back to the right. Left arm reaches skyward. Freedom in this head and neck. Triangle pose. Rise through center, shift to the left, and open. Let's deepen our breath. And once we exhale, inhale, rise back up through standing. Bend into the left knee, warrior two. And then cartwheel over the front leg. Step it back, high push-up plank position, and move through your back bend flow, either through chaturanga or knees down. Upward dog or cobra. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Scoop into the low belly. Press into the hands and down through the heels, whether they touch the ground or not. Soften the chin towards the chest, relieve a little bit of tension in the neck. The benefits of the inversion are numerous. Let's bend through the knees. Look forward in either step or hop to the top of the mat. We'll bow down, forward fold. This time, will you box opposite hand to opposite elbow, and then really relax the arms. Chin tucks a bit towards chest, heaviness through the neck, legs straight or bent. Let's release the arms. Hug into the low belly, draw your heart forward, come halfway up with hands rooted to shins or floor. And then exhale, fold and stretch again. Inhale, rise to standing, arms sweep up and overhead. And exhale down through your heart. Pause with hands to the side body and notice what you feel. So much may be pulsing, be energized, be released. The gifts of these asana, taking the one seat in the center of your heart. Let's come into the balancing posture of tree. If you'll shift your weight towards your right foot. Many of you know the sequence here for tree, but for those of you who may be newer, we're going to ground into the right foot and then take your tree. If you have your tree in place, go ahead and build it. But the stages are the left foot can stay fully on the ground, turned out. Or left heel can come to the inner ankle bone so that you're working on the balance through the ball of your foot. Lift through perineum, low belly, sternum, crown again. Or all weight can be to the right foot, where left foot presses into low right calf, or left toes can come and anchor their foot into the inner thigh. These arms are the expression of your tree, whether you want to keep them close to your body at hands and heart or belly, Whether you want to bring them out into branches low, like a tightrope walker, or you want to scoop into the belly and bring arms up and over your head, which will challenge the balance a bit more. Let's bow to the action, the amazing bones and muscles of the feet here, as well as the power at your low belly, your core, which is the center of your balance. Let's inhale one more time. And then exhale, bring everything down to equal standing. Notice the flush that moves through at the moments of release. Keep a little lift in your sternum and soften shoulders down your back, shoulder blades. Let's shift the weight to the left. Building your tree pose, or I'll walk through the kramas again, the stages. Giving weight to left foot, right foot can turn out. Fully grounded, or ball of the foot can come to the floor, heel to inner ankle. Heel and foot underneath the knee joint into the side of the shin. Or bringing toes and full foot into the inner thigh. Come in and up through perineum and low belly. Come up and out into sternum. Be tethered to the sky through the crown of the head, whether you're still or whether you sway. No worries if you hold it, whether you sway, whether you fall and come back in, it's all good for what's crossing the hemispheres of the right and left sides of your brain. Brilliant for the inner ear. Let's inhale once again. And exhale, bring this out to equal standing. Pause in Tadasana, mountain pose. Let's turn the feet out into a gentle V and come down into a squat. Now, if you're working with tender knees, you may hold this high. If you're working with ankle compression, it may force you to go high as well. Some of you may drop all the way down. And some of you will need to bring your heels off the ground in order to land on your toes, depending on what's happening in your ankle joints. If none of these variations of squat are appropriate for your knees or ankle, know that you can be on the floor with knees wide and hook the elbows to the inside of the legs and lift the heart and build the squat shape here that we open up through the low back. Let's all deepen our breath once more. And then exhale, land down, maybe taking the hands behind you or in front of you to help you lower your backside to the earth. And once you land, let's take left leg forward and right leg into half butterfly position. This Janu Sursasana. Push for a moment through the left heel. Push through the ball of the foot too, as if you were exaggerating the arch of your foot. Will you scoop up through belly and through heart? We'll inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, take arms up and overhead. And then exhale, bow forward. Maybe hands frame the side of the left leg. Maybe hands hold on to the toes. Maybe hands hold on to the shin. Or hands just simply land to the ground. Before we round this though, friends, will you inhale and lift your sternum, bring your shoulder blades down, hug into your belly. And this is putting a superficial stretch on top of the muscle into the fascia that's between muscle and skin. Obviously activating the muscles here, so they're strengthening. And now let's go deeper into the muscle stretch and less strengthening. If you soften your leg and foot and round your back as we recruit a different experience into the bones and the tendons and the muscles. Let's hold here another 5 breaths, more or less. On an inhalation, rise up to seated. We'll build this into a twist. If you can take your right foot onto the floor and take the right foot over to the left. I know you can sit on your bolster, but I would just turn it long ways. So, exactly. So, right foot can be here on the floor. We're either going to bring right hand behind us, left hand to knee, lift through sternum again, and then rotate. Or you can tuck this left leg in towards your right bum in the full Ardha Matsyendrasana. These are just 2 different poses, slightly different poses. So right hand is an anchor behind you, whether palm or fingertips. Left arm is at the knee. We'll inhale, lift the heart, and rotate. Some of you will stay just like this and breathe. And others of you might like taking that left elbow across your right knee if you have the proportion for that. Once you hook it though, lift your heart again and rotate. The one leg forward into the twist, Marichasana. Both legs tucked back, Ardha Matsyendrasana. Both lovely poses of waking up the spine in the twist, breathing and massaging lungs and inner organs. Opening up your right ear for deep listening. What do you hear? Let's inhale. Exhale and unwind it all. Let's bring the legs out in front of us and come down onto our backs. We'll do the other side in just a moment. Let's give a little reprieve to the front side of the pelvis, the hip flexors here. If feet can come to the floor with knees bent. Turn the tailbone under to flatten your low back to the floor. Bring your chin slightly toward your chest, essentially straightening out the spine. It's not intended to stay like this. It's just to give it some stimulus. And then lift through your hips and bring the hips up into bridge. Hands can rest down as if they were reaching toward your feet. Let's pulse this 3 more times. Bring your hips down. They can hover above the ground or land. Tuck the tailbone under and inhale, lift the hips, open the back of your neck, chin a little bit towards chest. Exhale, lower it down. And inhale, lift the hips to bridge. Chin comes in, not enough to hinder your breath or challenge your throat, just to open the back of the neck. Take 1 more pulse here. Inhale, lift the hips. And exhale, lower. Let's draw the knees in towards the chest. You can hold knees wide. You can hold knees narrow. You can hold on to the inner arches of your feet in happy baby, depending on your hips here. And then either roll to a side or rock up through seated. We'll extend right leg out this time. Left leg comes into half butterfly or into Janu Sirsasana. Let's take it muscularly first. If you push through your heel and push through the ball of your foot so it accentuates the arch of your foot. Give a scoop in and up through the belly, a lift through the sternum, a lift through the crown space at your throat. Maybe arms reach up and overhead. It's not necessary. This just plays with the lung space and the shoulders. And then exhale, bow forward, hands to the floor, or hands to hold the foot, or hands to hold the shin. Will you lift your sternum, lift your gaze forward, flatten out the low back a bit. You may feel that in your back, you may feel it in your hamstrings, you may feel it on the front side of your pelvis. And then on an exhalation, soften it and round. Let your foot fall in either direction that it goes in organically, if it moves at all. Feel the depth of 3 more breaths. And then on an inhalation, rise back up to seated. We'll build our twists, either bringing left foot to the floor so it stays on the same side. Right hand can be to left knee, left hand behind you so that you lift sternum and twist Marichasan. Or build Ardha Matsyendrasana, where we take this left foot to the other side, twisting here, or tucking that right leg in. Before you twist, lift belly, heart, crown, and then rotate. And maybe that right hand is what helping you bring into the twist. For some, if you have the proportion, right elbow may go over the thigh and hook. Just recommit to lifting crown and twisting. Once you find the pose, begin to deepen the breath and tune into the sharpness of your left ear, its listening state. Not shying away from the depth of your breath. We'll take a couple more. And then begin to unwind. Once you unwind, bring the legs out. Let's shift down onto our backs once again. Taking our bridge pose, but bringing in some arm movements this time. Walk the heels in close, but in your mind's eye, heels are underneath your knees, about the width of your hips. Let's turn the tailbone under to flatten the low back towards the floor. Bring your chin slightly in to open the back of the neck. And then lift the hips up and lift your arms up and overhead. Leave the arms here, but bring your hips back down. Inhale, lift the hips. Continue to leave your arms overhead. And exhale, bring your hips back down. Inhale, lift the hips. It may uniquely come into your middle spine. Exhale, lower down. One more time. Inhale, lift the hips, bridge. And exhale, hips back down. Release the hands down by your sides. Draw the knees in towards you, either knees narrow to give you a hug, or knees wide in a hug, or grabbing to the inner arches of the feet and happy baby. Let's release and either roll to your side or rock up through seated. Let's come into one more play to the back line of the body, but bringing an inner groin here as well. So either take a wide leg forward fold, taking the legs out wide, maybe patting your heels here, or coming into frog. So frog, wide leg forward fold. We'll stay seated, either staying up high on a cushion or on a blanket or on the earth, and then tilting forward to your range. Whether that's a couple inches or whether that's that you kiss the floor. Frog pose, if for any reason when you take this leg wide, it really pushes you backward, and this isn't a pose that you feel that you can enjoy the inner groin or the hamstrings, you have the option to take this into frog where feet come narrow and knees go wide. Let's stay here about another minute more. Come back into the breath and noticing what you can soften, where effort can release. As if each of these poses were removing debris, unteasing out tension to increase the energetic and water flow through the riverbeds of your body. Let's take one more breath. And on an inhalation, rise back through seated. Keep the legs here for just a moment and take your left hand off to the floor behind your knee and bring the right arm alongside your ear. Now you can stay here, or left forearm can rest to your thigh. If that feels okay, into the compression of your thigh tissues. Some of you will have the range of motion to hook left elbow to your inner leg to the floor and then reach right arm. A few may have the range of motion that can take the left hand underneath the thigh and reach towards the foot. But whatever you choose, roll the right shoulder slightly back. Keep it in your side body instead of pouring out through the heart, which starts coming into a forward fold. Bring this into the C curve, side of the right body. On an inhalation, let's rise up. Give yourself a moment to take a breath or two in the middle point. And then we'll take it to the other side, either right hand to the outer leg or right forearm to the thigh or right elbow towards the floor as left arm sweeps. If this challenges the neck, look down to the knee. If you want to work the musculature of the neck and it's not painful, look forward or maybe up. Let's inhale and we'll rise. Unwind for a moment and notice. Let's bend through a knee and bring the legs in towards each other. Let's come into the thigh tissue here, either in saddle or the thread through posture. If you'll take, let's say the left leg back, because it's a little easier, I can show you forward here. Either tuck the left leg back to half saddle, this foot can be pointed, or kind of flexed off to the side. And then lean back until you feel tug in the thigh. Know that if you're choosing this, I'm going to give you another variation in a moment, but if you're choosing this, we want the knee to, or the leg to stay down without push into it. So some, this is not my structure, but for some, they can come down onto their forearms or down to their backs, and that knee stays down. But you see, my knee is starting to come up. If I were to come to the floor, my knee would come way up. And this is going to be hard to the foot, to the ankle, and to the cruciate ligaments of the knee. So if you have props you can put behind you, you can lean back. As long as that left knee can stay down without push, it's too long of a pose to hold with muscular push. Now, the other variation, if you're working with tender knee or ankle, is to come onto your back, feet on the floor with the knees bent, and then slide left foot behind the right foot, almost like a half butterfly, and then soften your left knee down towards the floor till it stops organically. And hopefully that too will bring in a tug into your thigh, maybe even into your inner groin. If any of you have chosen the thread through pose and it's not quite enough sensation for you, keep working the left foot towards the right, pointing the knee down from your hip socket. Or you could even bring the right knee up into the mix. Let's just hold here another 30 seconds once you've found the position for you. Let's deepen this breath. And exhale. We'll begin to unwind. If you're on your back, feet can come back onto the floor with knee bent. If you're in half saddle from seated, lift up until that left leg can release. Go ahead and extend both legs out, whether you're in seated or whether you're on your back, and just to feel a moment. Give the body a moment to rebound, to flush. And then let's take this to the other side. If you're building the thread through on your back, bring the feet onto the floor with knees bent, and then slide right foot behind left foot, and relax right knee downward. Working that foot more to the right, if necessary, to invoke more tug into the thigh, or tucking right leg back into half saddle. Again, leaning back until you find the tug in the thigh, maybe across the knee in a gentle way. These are good poses for the knee joint. These are good poses for the quad tissues. Good poses to compress into the low back a little bit, to the sacrum, SI joints. Now soften effort as we ride this minute more. Will you deepen your breath? And once this breath is released, use an upcoming inhalation to start unwinding this posture. Let's come down onto our backs. And we'll build a twist. We're going to take 2 twists. They're going to work with different aspects of the spine. The first is to work way down along the backside of the pelvis into the SI joint. So if you'll have feet on the floor with the knees bent, cross the left leg over the right so that the knees are stacked. It's a cross-legged position. Now that might be just where you stay as we're opening up that left SI joint a little bit from the right, from the center line. Or you can let both knees fall gently towards the right. And that'll start to twist the spine and the gravity, really, the gravity of your left leg over towards the right side, even the pressure your right knee might be putting on your leg, is going to help traction the edge of that ilium away from your sacrum to put a modest traction into the SI joint. Now you might like a neck and shoulder movement here as well, where you take the left hand down by your hip, down by your backside, and let it land on the floor. Now slide it along the floor off to your side, and then slide it up and over your head. Your palm is going to likely flip, the arm's going to flip. And then sweep this left arm along the floor if possible, tracing the floor all the way down to your hip. Take that a couple more times where you inhale, this half circle, left arm sweeps off to the side and then up and overhead, and even look to the left to bring the neck in. And then exhale, sweep the left arm down by your side and turn your head to look to the right. Twice more. Inhale, sweep up, look to the left. And exhale, sweep down and look to the right. Sweep up, look to your left. And sweep down, look to your right. Leave the arm down here or replace it onto your body. Let's inhale the legs back through to the center. Unwind the legs. You may want to bring your knees toward your belly, or you might like lifting your hips into a bridge pose to neutralize the spine, the sacrum for a moment, to bring something more symmetric. And then we'll place the feet onto the floor. Cross right leg over left leg. That opens up that sacrum a bit. And then take both legs over to the left. Now you can keep the focus here on the twist and the sacral work, or come into neck and shoulder play as well. Bringing right hand down by your side. See if you can trace it along the floor, just above the floor. Bring it in that half circle up alongside your ear and reach. And then exhale, sweep it down. Doesn't have to be a lot of effort. It's the movement of the shoulder blade and collarbone that we're interested in here. As we inhale, sweep this arm up, maybe looking to the right. Exhale, sweep it down. Turn your head to look to the left. Inhale, sweep up, look right. Exhale, sweep down, look left. One more time. Inhale, sweep up, look to the right. And exhale, bring it down, look to the left. You let your hand be still or replace it onto your body. Turn the gaze towards the ceiling as we lift the legs back through to center. Unwind the legs. Maybe take a bridge pose or draw your knees to your chest to create some symmetry between right and left sides of the spine. And then finally, bring your thighs up towards your belly in this forward fold. Take the arms out to the side in a T position. And this time with both knees, take them over to the right. Turn your gaze back to the left. No worries if legs are stacked. Very few people can actually get their left leg on top of the right leg equal at the knees without quite a bit of effort. So your left knee may be pulled a little bit back. It may be parted from your right. Focus on the twist of your spine. Focus on the depth of your breath. As we tend to the liquid riverbed of your spinal column, your cerebral spinal fluid, notice if it's easier to breathe into one lung side or the other lung side when you're in a pose like this. On an inhalation, we'll bring the knees back up through to the center. Before we take it to the other side, will you bring your feet onto the floor? Knees stay bent. And place the left foot onto your right thigh. We'll bring right knee towards us so we give a tug, a little reclined pigeon here into the left hip side of the bum. We just worked the twist. Now let's bring the hip in. Of course, holding as long as it serves you. But when you're ready, we'll bring this right foot down. Bring the left foot down. Extend the legs out long like a 2-breath shavasana here for a moment, just to feel the left and right sides of your body from this twist, from this this reclined pigeon pose. And then bring both thighs toward your belly. Take the arms out wide as an anchoring T position. Take both legs over to the left and letting that left leg ground down. Let the left foot come to the floor. Let right leg land where it lands, whether it's parted or laying right on top, touching. If this really pulls your right shoulder away from the floor, you can get a blanket or a cushion underneath your left knee so that you don't twist as the legs don't come as far over. The twist will be the same, but it'll let your right shoulder get a little closer to the ground. You may like turning your gaze towards the right. And we take another 3 to 5 breaths. On an inhalation, bring both legs back through to the center. Replace both feet onto the floor with the knees bent. And then lift this right foot and place it onto your left thigh, figure 4. Draw the left leg towards you. As we take reclined pigeon, if this really pulls your chin up, your neck up, see if you can place a folded blanket or towel underneath your head. That will help the shoulders rest more, even when you're holding on to this leg. Breathe as if there was nectar moving through your body. There is the living intelligence that animates us into being. These poses here to tease out the tensions that constrict the flow, to open up the riverbeds of your body that influence your mood, your mind, your well being, as well as the health of all the internal working parts. Let's bring the left foot down to the floor. Unwind the legs. And if you'd like that symmetry into the spine, once again, maybe lifting the hips into bridge or drawing thighs toward your belly into a little ball. And then let's open our bodies out to take a few minutes in Shavasana to integrate the known and the unknown benefits of our practice. Let the stillness of the Shavasana be as important as every other pose. Creating a little space between the feet, maybe a little space between the arms away from your body, unless hands prefer to rest like healing touch on your body. Friends, in these next few breaths, maybe remembering the intention of your practice. Take a few deep breaths to what you hold in your heart as word or image or feeling. And maybe inhaling a sense of peace, and exhaling ease. Inhaling a peacefulness. Exhaling ease. Inhaling the peacefulness that is the true nature. And exhale ease as we move through the nuances of our everyday life. You can begin to find some subtle stretches and fingers and toes, little movements. Follow if an urge comes to take any bigger stretches or movements. Know that you can close the practice here in your Shavasana state, or you can close the practice by gently lifting back to seated. May there be peace and ease as you move through this day. Peace and ease in thoughts. Peace and ease in speech. Peace and ease in the heart. And peace and ease throughout the riverbeds of this blessed body. Namaste. Thank you for sharing the practice. Thank you, friends at home. I look forward to sharing practices again with you soon.